Bienvenidos, buenas tardes, días, or noches, wherever the heck you're listening to us. Race fans and PGP listeners, the wait is over. It's time for the Spanish Grand Prix. We're coming to you live from the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya, where the sun is blazing, the fans are passionate, and the strategy games are about to go full chessboard. This track's been a fixture since 1991, known for testing everything: aero, tire wear, patience, and sometimes friendships. It's where great seasons gain momentum or fall apart in turn one. And today, the 2025 drama is thick. Ferrari's playing mind games, Red Bull's looking a little mortal, and Mercedes is either back or bluffing. Meanwhile, Fernando Alonso's got his crowd behind him like a Spanish bull ready to charge, and Carlos Sainz is hunting a podium in front of his people. Vamos. On today's episode, we have me, Melissa, Amy, Hannah, and Chelsea behind the scenes. So grab your café con leche, turn up the volume, and get ready for a race where tire strategy is king and track position is gold. It's the Spanish Grand Prix, and it's lights out in Catalunya.
Hello, besties. Have you missed me? It's been a little bit since I feel like I've been in front of a podcast microphone, but it's not a recap if I'm not back with track changes. And yes, there is a mild laundry list. I'm sorry, I have to run through it. It's standard operating procedure at this point. Track changes are as follows. The guardrail on the right-hand side approaching turn 1 was replaced by a concrete wall with a debris fence. Turn 2 exit was realigned with the white line. Turn 5 exit was realigned with the white line and had a blue line painted behind said white line. The same thing has happened to the exit of turn 9, the exit of turn 10, the exit of turn 12, and the exit of turn 14. They also added new fences to protect the marshal's post, which, like, yay, that's like should be top of the list, I feel like, because that's like the most important, but that's just me. I feel like we cannot get into a race weekend recap without noting that this is actually our final race in Barca. Next year officially kicks off Madrid hosting. Madrid was supposed to host this year, I think, and it got pushed back a year. There was probably some behind the scenes stuff with planning or whatever that just threw everything off. But I don't know how I feel about this. I really have liked seeing them race in Barcelona.
I am very sad about it because it's just... Why I understand the reason for like street tracks and street races. They're exciting. They're fun. It's just sad to see another iconic racetrack lost to a street track. I mean, we've lost so many already. We're still going to lose some more this coming season, but we'll have to see, especially with the new regulations coming in next year. So I just wish there was a way that they can alternate these tracks because, I mean, we have 3 USA tracks. And realistically speaking, in the North America region, we have 5. Why do we need 3 of them in the US? Like, I really want to go to Spain and go to Barcelona. That's why. Same thing. I would love to go to France to the Paul Ricard. Spa. What's the other ones that we're losing? The Red Bull Ring. Like, there's so many like iconic ones. Turkey needs to come back. Portugal needs to come back. Like, it's just South Africa would be really cool too. Like, give me a reason to travel, guys. Come on.
Honestly, Mel, I feel you 1,000,000%. I feel like we have too many races here. I would love a more rotating calendar, even if it's on a year-by-year basis. Just like spice it up every year. Give me like have things that are wild card circuits or something.
Exactly. Like, alternate.
It would be so fun. I also just really want them to bring back Porto, but that's just like me personally. I will say I did have to dig into the Madrid circuit because I kind of didn't remember the plan for the circuit. The circuit itself will use both public roads and private land. So some sections are set to feel more like a street circuit, whereas others will feel more like a permanent setup, kind of mirroring what we see at Miami, which at least feels kind of cool. So you'll have a little bit of like, you'll have street circuit energy without it being like a true street circuit, which is just really hard for like any kind of city and or country, because you have to shut down for like basically 4 days when you think about it, in terms of like load in, load out, and weekend events. It's just like a lot. So I am excited to see what Madrid looks like, but I kind of wish they would alternate for Spain of like every other year. I don't know. It could be cool.
Honestly, I would be really happy if they brought back Hockenheim in Germany. That's a really good circuit, so I would be happy with that. But on a brighter note, while quite sad, I will miss Barcelona. But with Carlos Sainz supporting the build/make of the track of Madrid, it does bring some excitement as to what is to come next year.
I did forget he's actually from Madrid, because he does like root for Real Madrid Football Club. Sorry, my team beat you guys in the Champions League. It's okay. They can live. They have enough awards. But anyways, we can talk about these circuit changes, updates, and all day, because if you ask me, we have a lot of circuits that we want to return, and probably some that we want taken away. But we have to go into some pre-race fun that leads into the weekend. And of course, like Amy with her track changes, it wouldn't be an episode without mentioning some livery, race suit, or special helmets. Now, there wasn't really any special helmets this weekend, not even for the hometown heroes, Fernando and Carlos, which I was honestly very disappointed in. I was hoping there would be something from them, at least something. But it is what it is. But Alpine had a special race suit. It was red, white, and blue, very a la America, if you ask me. But it's also their, French colors. But if you ask anyone, I feel like people think of the U.S. It might be full of me saying that as an American as well, too. But anyways, as for the car, nothing special. Literally just a sticker to celebrate the 70 years of the A110 coupe. Like, okay. And honestly, if you ask me, they don't really have much to celebrate. So there's that. Now, and if you ask me, it seems like all teams are just doing their own versions of the Williams race suits, because we had Charles that had the little white ones last week for his Monaco Grand Prix. And let's see who's next, right? Now, Sauber had a change to their livery this weekend, featuring diamond and pixel spreads throughout their car, making just a subtle change. If you look at it really closely, you can see it. But honestly, if you ask me, I didn't notice it. So there is that.
It kind of gave Roblox vibes, honestly, with their livery and their race suits. But it was also cool to see, because you just never know when they're going to do things like that. And there's a little bit more subtle than most, where they do like a drastic change. But McLaren decided to keep the OBX car livery for another week. I don't know if that's just because that sponsor now has decided to give more money, and now they have to have it as a full sponsor on the car, or what. While we don't know if it will stay, it was good to see. Kind of wish they kept the uniforms too still, but because I just kind of wish I had gone in to see the white suits with the cursive names, because I was obsessed with that from Monaco. But besides that, it was a good livery.
I like the cursive names on the back. It like reminds me of Ferrari, what they do with their drivers. Like, I think a lot of teams need to hop on that bandwagon, because sometimes, of course you can tell who's who if you've been in the sport long enough and know how they walk and like their height and everything. But I don't know. I think it's just cool. Again, it's me. Now we got to go into the meat and bones of race weekend, and we start off with FP1. Now, nothing exciting really happened in FP1. We did have some of our drivers being subbed out for the up-and-coming talent this weekend for the practice sessions. We had Ryo Hirakawa for Haas and Victor Martins for Williams. Now, the top three out of this session, we had Lando in P1, Max in P2, and Lewis in P3.
Your bottom five was Gabriel Bortoleto, Ryu Hirakawa, Kimi Antonelli, Victor Martins, and Franco Colapinto. Now, moving into FP2, I feel like free practice is really just like people put it on for background sound a lot of the times. At least that's me. I just don't always have the brain power for it during the week, if I'm honest. But your top three for FP2 was Oscar in P1, George in P2, and Max in P3.
And then the bottom 5 in FP2 were Stroll, Bortoleto, Ocon, Bierman, and Colapinto.
For FP3, the top 3 was Oscar in P1, Lando in P2, and Charles in P3.
And then the bottom 5 for the final practice session of the weekend, we had Gasly, Colapinto, Ocon, Albon, and Bierman. Now, going into quali again, there was some drama, but I do have to note that I love when Nico Rosberg is on the commentary. It's just something about hearing him explain the dynamics of an F1 car and everything that goes behind it. It's just really nice because, like, it's just the way he explains stuff. It's just like, yeah, this happens because X, Y, and Z. But I like when him and Button are on the commentaries because it's just, like, nice hearing not only their opinions, but, like, their understanding of why stuff happens, or they explain why certain things happen the way they do.
On Sky Sports, did you hear his comment when he was on turn 8, and he said, I don't really remember this part of the track, and I saw that meme like circulating as well, and it was just hilarious because I'm like, man, what do you mean you don't remember this? You raced it like what, over a dozen times probably? Come on.
Was this where him and Lewis crashed out? Literally?
Yup.
You know it.
The
That's
same
probably why
spots.
he's like, this is just something I like to block out of my memory.
Uh-huh.
I don't blame him. I do not blame him. But it's funny how he's like, I don't remember. Like, sir, please. Now, during the last 3 minutes of Q1, there was a traffic jam because Colapinto was having issues. The poor guy can't catch a break, but we'll talk about him later on. And what made me laugh during this last few minutes, because of course you don't want to leave the pit lane late because you want to do your push lap and make sure you're out of the bottom 5 into the top 15, because if not, you're out, right? Carlos started a trend where he just passed him, so you just see Carlos just zoom on by, and then goes Lewis, and then goes everyone else, and it just, gave me a good little giggle.
At the end of Q1, we lost Nico Hülkenberg, Esteban Ocon, Carlos Sainz, Franco Colapinto, and Yuki Tsunoda.
All I have to say is yikes at Yuki being in P20. It really hurts seeing him struggle.
I viscerally cringed. I can't even lie. Like, Red Bull guys, what in the hell is going on? Where did the pace go for him? I truly don't understand it, because Max was doing fine in the car. So I just don't understand how the car is so, Max is able to get something out of it, but it seems like anybody in that friggin' second car is just screwed and can't pull anything out of it to save their lives.
No, exactly.
The math does not math in the slightest, and I'm not just saying that as a girl with a comm background who doesn't like math.
No, it's the second driver's seat. It's just the curse continues. I'm just waiting for someone to finally break it, but I don't know if it's really going to take a break as much as it's going to take.
It's never going to break
at all and starting over.
It's just never going to break at this point.
And everybody thinks Isaac Hadjar is going to be the next person.
No, I don't think he wants that seat.
I don't think he's ready.
I don't think Isaac thinks he's ready, but I also don't think he wants it right now.
Because Yuki was doing so good in V-Carb.
He needs to keep that with the 10-foot pole.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He was doing so good in V-Carb, and then now Liam is doing pretty good in V-Carb, so it's clearly it's not the driver, it's
the car.
It's a car issue. Red Bull. It's a Red Bull issue.
Yeah, I mean, there comes a point where you've got to admit that your car is just not it, or it's not it for anybody outside of your main driver who you build your car around. But if that's the case, just own it. I don't know. I don't get it. We'll never really know why they make the calls they make. But the other driver for me that's seeing them so low in the standings that really hurt was Carlos. I can't even lie. You know he wants to do well because it's technically his home race. Yes, it's not his hometown, but it's still his home race. He wants to do well, and it just kind of sucked to see that not come to fruition for him. But the driver that made me really happy was Gabriel Bortoleto. Seeing Gabby out-qualify Nico again was just, like, really, really nice. I feel like a lot of the rookies are finally reaching their stride where, like, they're comfortable with the car and they're more comfortable and confident in themselves. And I feel like it's showing on track. But that could just be me.
No, the rookies really have been popping off, like, honestly, if you ask me, probably since, like, the beginning of the season. But yeah, no, I love seeing when rookies do well and they outperform their teammates. It's nice to see. Now, going into Q2, again, not much really went on, but I gotta give it to Nico because he literally said, quote, "This Isaac Hajar always delivers." And all I have to say to that is, yes, that is my Pookie rookie. I love him. Like, it's just something about Isaac that just, like, won me over, and I love seeing him. He's been on it. He's really been on it. No notes.
I feel like every single girl on this podcast in particular knows my love of Isaac Hajar. If you've listened to an episode or two recently, you've also heard me yap about my love of Isaac Hajar. So I'm not going to go off too hard, but, like, go off, King. You are an icon. We love you.
He's just so likable. I don't know what it is. He's just so, like, nice but funny and then approachable, but then at the same time, like, reserved. And he doesn't seem like the type of person who would just do something with ill intent or frustration, which makes me like him even more. And his funny, "Oh man, I crashed the car" video, chef's kiss.
I love him. He's just such a little angel. It's just he's an angel. We stand Isaac Hajar in this podcast. And it's fantastic. By the end of Q2, we lost Alex Albon, Gabriel Bortoleto, Liam Lawson, Lance Stroll, and Ollie Bierman. Now, Q3 was obviously a little chaotic. I feel like Q3 is always just a wild card because you never really know how things are going to shake out. I really did get a laugh out of that cheeky radio message from Oscar with the slipstream with Lando. That was just like kind of some, I guess, subtle shade, maybe? I don't know. It made me laugh.
I feel like it was subtle shade. It's just the way he said it so calm. He's like, cheeky. It's like, aha, Oscar. It's just a good little, again, that banter is funny to hear from him.
What had me like screaming at my TV at one point was seeing Fernando Alonso up in 5th with like, I think there was a little over 2 minutes left in Q3. Honestly, he was like so hyped about his P5. It was so cute. His radio message came through and I was just like, oh my God, Fernando was so excited. He sounded like a kid on Christmas.
And then your top 10 going into race weekend, we had Oscar in P1, followed by Lando in P2, Max P3, George P4, Lewis P5, Kimi P6, Charles P7, Pierre P8, Isaac P9, and Fernando in P10. And a little fun PGP fact, this is actually the first McLaren front row lockout in Barcelona since 1998. I was in 2nd grade, you guys. That's crazy. Like, I'm so old. It's insane to think about that.
I was a year old.
Oh my God. I think I was in 1st grade.
Yeah, you probably were.
Like,
if I was in 2nd, you were in 1st. Yeah, it's...
I love when F1 like history facts like subtly call us old.
No, literally.
We get it from subtle F1 history facts and Meg on the occasional episode she's on, or randomly in the group chat.
Now, going into the race, we received the breaking news after quali, way ahead of the actual race, that Lance had to withdraw from the event due to issues with his wrist and now needs surgery. If you guys remember, it was before the start of last season, he broke his wrist in a biking accident. Thank you, Amy. And got surgery, recovered pretty quick. We all have feelings about it. I know me personally, I was just like, I feel like it's too soon. He should have waited a little bit and recovered because, you know, the wrist, I mean, breaking it, I've never broken a bone, but I can just imagine how serious it is. And physical therapy and everything, I felt like, I don't know. I just felt like it was too rushed, but now it brought up issues. And hope he recovers quick from that. Hope he's okay. Luckily, he doesn't have to worry about cost of medical care for him. So I just hope he's okay because no one deserves that type of medical issues. Anywho, now Yuki is struggling because he has a pit lane start. And I'm tired. I'm really tired for Yuki. I just want him to do so good in that damn Red Bull car.
I feel like everybody wants to see Yuki do well. I don't care who you are. Maybe Christian Horner or Helmut Marko would beg to differ with me, but like, whatever. I don't care about their opinion, to be honest. That start, though, was just so not it for Lando, and I would put money on the fact that he was most likely kicking himself for his start.
Going back in regards to Lance, I think everyone is wondering if he'll be able to race in Canada at this point. I feel bad that since he participated in quali, Aston lost out on the opportunity of having a second driver out on the grid to compete, which then kind of doesn't help them when it comes to like constructor points and things like that. And then as far as like a pit lane start for Yuki, I feel like this man deserves better. Just a really good race, I feel like, would help his morale get a lot better.
So going back to Lance and the whole will he be able to race in Canada thing, here is another kicker that I feel like we have to think about. And that is the fact that the Canadian Grand Prix happens the same weekend as Le Mans, where both of their reserve drivers are driving in the 24 hours of Le Mans. So I like, if they can't put Lance in the car, I don't know who the hell they're going to put in it, because both Stoffel Van Dorn and Felipe Drogovic race in Le Mans. So I don't know. Are we going to see Valtteri Bottas in a Aston? I don't know. I have so many questions. Obviously, I hope Lance heals well, but I also wonder if he's been having these issues with his wrists a lot longer, and it just like reached a pain breaking point where he was just like, nope, I can't do this anymore. I don't know. I have a lot of questions.
You know what? You make a very valid point. I didn't think about that. I also just didn't know Le Mans was the same weekend. Iconic. But didn't think about that. I just hope the guy feels better, but also gets the proper care. Like he recovers properly, because again, it's your wrist. Like we use our wrists for like a lot of things like that we don't think about. So I mean, yeah. Again, I can talk about this like all day long. But I do want to mention it was so iconic of Nico, the Hulk himself. He started from P15 and he went up to P10. All I have to say to that is holy shit, Nico. What? No words.
I truly don't know where that pace came from for Nico. Like, I don't know if it was pixie dust. I don't know. But Sauber pulled it together. Honestly, it was fantastic. Yes, it was only like the first few laps of the race, but like 15th to 10th is still wild.
They brought some minor upgrades to the Sauber car this weekend, and I do believe it clearly showed as far as how we saw Nico and Bortoleto perform this weekend.
We had a very sassy George Russell radio message come through, and I quote, "These beep are moving under braking today. What is going on? Question mark, exclamation point." And it was enough to warrant a response from Toto of concentrate, which just, I feel like it's never good when Toto comes on the radio. You're getting yelled at by like your boss basically on a open channel. I really want the unredacted version of this radio message because I truly can't quite tell what he had said that was beeped out. All I know is that in the visual, it was only 4 asterisks, but I'm like, what I'm plugging in doesn't make sense in the sentence. So I don't know. We'll never know. I feel like at this point.
I wish they would allow cursing, or like they would broadcast it. Because again, there's a kids channel for this. And again, adults can teach their kids right from wrong. But yes, it was very cheeky for Toto to just go on and be like, concentrate, George, in his accent. Like I cackled. I was just like, ooh. It's one of those things when like your parents like scold you with like that one look when you're like behaving, or like say one thing like the Latin culture where it's like, ya va a ver cuando llegamos a la casa, like you'll see when we get home, it's just like, oh shit, I'm in trouble, like for real. That's what it felt like from Toto. Now, this race had a lot of stuff happening within the first lap, and randomly Alex had damage to his front wing. I don't know when this happened. I don't know how it happened, but it was just brought up, and I was just like, what? That they had to like pit early to like switch out the front wing and everything. It was just drama in that garage.
Ferrari was really giving us peak Ferrari until about like lap 10. Guys, please, what in the hell is going on? I'm not even a Ferrari girly, and I'm over it.
As a Tifosi, I am so tired. I am exhausted. I can't defend them anymore. Like, I'm just so over it. Exhausted. That's all. That's simply all.
It's like the Ferrari team can't win for lose at this point. Like, the car does good, but then something in the pit lane or when the decisions they make do bad, and then it's vice versa. It's like, can we not be on the same page?
Exactly.
It stresses me out.
Imagine how I feel.
I can't even imagine how they feel there.
Honestly, seeing Fernando lock up and go into the gravel, just like, it kind of felt like it came out of left field for me. I'm happy he was able to at least somewhat relatively continue on, but it just was like, oh, and Fernando's in the gravel? Okay. I really and truly would love to be a fly on the wall in Flavio Briatore's office to know if that man has started to kick himself for pulling Jack Doohan out and putting Franco in. I'm sorry, Franco, and I'm sorry, Franco fans. I do love Franco, but like right now, the performance just like is not showing at all, and he only has that 5 race contract. So I'm just like, something has to click, or like, I don't know. It just, I really want to be a fly on the wall because I want to see the reactions.
2 things. 1, that whole 5 race contract thing with Jack, and then now with Franco, if you ask me, it's bullshit. It's other BS. Like, 1, it's not fair. 2, who the hell are you guys gonna bring in after Franco? Like,
if they try to put Paul Aaron in that friggin' car and they ruin his potential F1 career, I might scream. Because I love Paul and he deserves nothing but the best, and I really and truly do not want Alpine to ruin him.
Let's also note that they only get 4 drivers a year. So at what point do you say, okay, the first 2 didn't work out, do I go back to the first one? Do I do another one? You run out of choices, because at the end of the day, by the time you get to that 4th driver, you have to make a decision. Who is the better out of the 3? And that's not right for the drivers nor the teams. But I will say Gasly didn't have the pace either so far in this race/weekend, which makes you wonder if there's issues again in the house of Alpine, because like, what's going on? I feel like we're having the same old chaos the last few years as far as like people leaving, turnover, drivers not staying, drivers having issues. Like, what's going on?
I mean, I feel like the red flag should have honestly really and truly been Esty leaving because he was so, like, Alpine to his core. It kind of should have been the equivalent of, like, in the corporate world, when you see HR leaving, that should be your red flag. Something's wrong at the company. Your driver who's been, like, tooth and nail fighting for you leaving should have been, like, the writing on the wall.
But let's note that while I'm not the hugest fan of Flavio, just due to some of the decisions he's made, he's not been the first pattern that kind of, like, started us here. It's been, like, a reoccurring, like, Alpine issue at the end of the day. So we'll see what the rest of the year holds for the House of Alpine.
They just need a complete update, shut down, and start up again at this point, because it's just like y'all mentioned, it's not fair. I like Franco too. I wanted Jack to do well, and I think it's getting to the point where it's just like FIA, like, you need to step in and put in, like, some guideline or rule where it's like you cannot switch drivers this early. Red Bull, I'm also calling you out because you guys started this trend. Okay, you guys started this. Williams, I'm also calling you out because you guys did this last year too. Anyways, so it's getting to that point where the FIA needs to step in and do something, but we know the FIA is going to FIA when they want. 2, I think it's just pressure that's causing Franco not to perform well. But I'm also trying to give him the benefit of the doubt because we all know Flavio is a bit unhinged, to put it nicely. Just a little bit. Now, throughout the race, seeing the Disney F1 coming 2026 is low-key killing me because if you ask me, I love Disney. I'm a Disney girly. Not so much anymore. I still feel like it's a really random collab, and the memes with Mickey Mouse has just been killing me, so I just can't get that out of my mind.
I, like, completely missed this somehow, and I had to dig into it. It looks like the news dropped, like, May 19th, so it's been out for a while, and I just completely did not know.
I am absolutely obsessed with this collab. Like, please, take all my money. For any of the girls on PGP, they know I love Disney. So this collab is literally the best of both worlds.
Now, of course, the William chaos is still going on because we had contact between Liam and Alex, causing damage to Alex's second front wing. And then this turns into a DNF due to the damage. Now, what was really chaotic was just that he went into the pit lanes, served a 10-second penalty, did a lap, and then finally DNF'd. In my notes, I literally said, I'm so confundida. Like, I was just like, what is going on here right now, guys?
So he apparently had a 10-second penalty for leaving the track and gaining an advantage. So, like, and I think the reason why he went into the pits, served his penalty, and then did a lap was because he has to. He can't just, like, go in, serve his penalty, and, like, DNF from the pit. He has to do another lap around the circuit. So he went, he did his 10 seconds, he did another lap, and then came back in the pits and went, poof, we're done. It's odd, but, like, rules are rules, I guess.
Y'all are going to laugh at me, but I literally have in the notes, word for word, the jump scares I get when I see Bernardo. I don't want to see that man. And 2, someone help him out with his hair. Goodbye.
He needs to go see Pascal Leclerc and have Mama Leclerc get him right.
No, he doesn't. Keep him away from the Leclercs as far as possible. As far as possible. We all know how much he loved Carlos. Get him some L'Oreal. Stat.
Y'all are gonna laugh, but when I was in Austin, I literally sat next to him for a short period of time, and I was just like, what's going on with this guy's hair?
It's so dry.
We need some gel or something.
It is the struggle of curly hair. As a girl who has naturally curly hair, who never wears my hair naturally curly, I do feel his pain, but, like, if you can't handle your pattern, keep it short.
Exactly.
If you cannot handle your curl pattern, just keep your hair short. It's so much easier. Honestly, what had my jaw on the floor was I look up from typing my notes and it's lap 36 and Max Verstappen is just like rocking out in third. And I look at the rest of the grid and Yuki Tsunoda is just like in 15th? Yes, 15th. Red Bull, guys, what on earth is going on with your cars? It's starting to stress me out. I keep joking that Newey took something when he left, and I truly, truly believe he took some little teeny tiny piece from these cars, or at least from the second car. I don't understand. I truly do not understand it.
It's just clear as freaking day that the second car is a huge issue. It's cursed. Let's be real. It is cursed. It's been cursed since like Danny Rick had left, if we're being really, really real right now. And of course, we saw the downfall of Red Bull start happening when Newey resigned from his position with Red Bull. All in all, I still just feel bad for Yuki at the end of the day. Because I'm a Yuki fan. I like Yuki. I want Yuki to do well. And seeing him perform so poorly with this poor car, it's just like, and you can see in his face, like, he's just not happy either. Like, he's like, I don't know what the F is going on. So it's just like, it's really frustrating. And I hate it here. I really hate it here. And speaking about hating here, I continue hating here as a Ferrari fan because Lewis had a terrible, terrible second pit stop. I am about to go to Maranello myself, slap Fred across his bald little head that I love, and just be like, what do we need to do here? What do I need to do to make sure that Lewis and Charles are at the front? Because like something's not clicking and I'm over it.
We read it, Dawn.
Thank you. Let's just fly out now. Let's just go. I'll meet you there.
I feel like I really need to take one more second to talk about the fantastic, absolutely fire improvement from the steak sour team. Y'all, claps all around, snaps all around, 10 out of 10. I have no notes. It's really nice to see the improvement, and it does make me really hopeful that maybe we'll see Audi kick some butt next season. I don't know. I'm gonna manifest that for them.
Once all that comes in, Audi comes in next year. We got the Audi money coming in and everything. I really hope we see a Hulk podium in the future because we know how long he has gone without a podium. And I know there was high expectations for this guy coming into F1, and those expectations are still pretty high. And he's shown he's a good driver and he still got it. So seeing him on the podium, or at least closer and everything, him climbing up, like it brings high hopes, to be honest.
I feel like it's very well deserved, and I just hope over the next couple races we see more and more improvements, or at least stay consistent like we saw in Barcelona this weekend. I will say Audi does already own the team, and then their names are already like on the buildings. It's just technically FIA doesn't officially allow Audi to put their emblem and stuff on there till next year, because that's just the rules and the regulations that they signed into with the contract. So I think we're starting to see a little Audi already as far as like some of the improvements we're putting in, or at least that's what I like to think. I've no freaking idea, but I'm just happy for anything.
Now, Mercedes is another one that we want to look at, because what the heck has been going on in House Mercedes? Because Kimi had DNF due to a power unit failure. I got a feel for the kid because he DNF'd last weekend. Now this weekend, it's like, what's going on Mercedes? But it wouldn't be a race without some spice, especially in Barcelona, because a safety car came out.
Literally, all of a sudden, I'm looking at my screen and you just see, poof, cloud of white from the back of Kimi's car. And it's just like, oh no. And there goes your engine. That's the one thing I will say is kind of the funniest part about watching F1 is like, you know when a driver's engine goes because you can just see it and you can hear it. Because it's just like all of a sudden it's just quiet on someone's onboard. It's wild. The thing I was not prepared for was the random Jude Bellingham sighting. It just like threw me for a loop. I love it because I love Jude, but like I just wasn't prepared.
His reaction reminded me of the shocked Pikachu meme. If you know, you know. I'm holding myself back from laughing because I love that meme so much. But if you guys didn't know, the English national team was actually out there this weekend because they're playing against the Spanish national team in a game. I don't know if it's for qualifiers for the World Cup or anything, but I was hoping to see Bukayo Saka and Declan Rice were to Arsenal. I was really hoping for more appearances because we saw Lewandowski. He plays for the Polish team, but he also plays for Barcelona's team. But I think he's an actual fan of the sport too. But it would have been nice to see more English players, like the two I noted. I don't really care about the rest. Jude was nice to see though, but his reaction just reminded me of the shocked Pikachu. Like I was just dying when I saw that. Now, Red Bull, I'm coming for you next. What is going on with you guys? What is going on with you guys? They decided to give orders to Max to let his nemesis of all people, George, by. It's insane that it came down to it. And I don't want to say Max being Max, but it was really, really petty. And if you ask me, pretty low. And I respect Max. He's a great driver. He's a 4-time champ. I can't take that away from him. But did you really have to do that to George and like cause a collision? Because like, come on. But also like Red Bull, what the helly? What the helly berry?
Honestly, I had no words. My jaw was quite literally on the floor. Guaranteed. I mean, obviously it ended up being a 10-second penalty for Max. Was not a surprising outcome, if you ask me.
Also, I know that was all he had, but why the heck did they put him on hard tires? I think that's what made him already upset, because why would you put a man on hard tires when everybody else is on soft and mediums, and he's the only one just lonely in the field with hard tires? And we all know hard tires take longer to heat up to get ready to actually be able to overtake. So he was already at a disadvantage as soon as they put him in hard tires. So add the adrenaline from racing and the frustration that we all are used to seeing from Max explodes. And I definitely think Max did that on purpose, because Max is maxing after being told by his race engineer, like Mel said, don't put those two next to each other and have Max upset. It's just not gonna work. I'm surprised there's not a big hole in the side of George's car like there was last time, because the way that he hit him would have actually said that. I'm actually surprised there's no wing damage either, but it could have just been a subtle love tap going back off.
I mean, I was surprised that George actually finished and didn't have to DNF. Like, I really thought it was going to be a lot worse than it was.
If we're being honest, I'm just happy it wasn't one of those incidents. I think it was a Barcelona race, if I remember correctly. I think 2020 or 2021. It was before I was a fan, where thank God the halo came through, but like Max and Lewis like ran into each other. I forgot who was like in front of each other and everything, but like Max essentially went over Lewis's car, and like the wheel, like there was like skid marks on Lewis's helmet. So it's like, I get it. You're frustrated. The whole pit stop debacle thing happened. I mean, again, that third pit stop was so pointless, if we're being honest. Like, come on. Especially at the last like 6-7 laps. It just didn't make sense. But that whole situation could have ended a lot worse than what we got, and thankfully it didn't happen, because sometimes I feel like Max needs to like check that about himself, because it's like, you're not only risking the other drivers, but now you're risking yourself, and you got to think about more than yourself, because you got a kid now. Please.
It was almost like they saw that their safety car had come out, and they took that as a sign, hey, let's pit while we have the chance, while the grid's in place, to hopefully get the fastest lap. But I think the thought process was there. The execution of that wasn't. It wasn't serving how I think they intended to.
Hannah, do you want to take fastest lap and I can do driver of the day, or I can take fastest lap and you can do driver of the day?
Are we? I thought we were still at top 3 where we did Oscar, Lando.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
I'm about to do that. Yeah. No, you're fine.
My brain
but
is not.
Going back to fastest lap and driver of the day, I do not care. I just added it because I saw you had it open.
Thank
It
you.
doesn't
I
matter to me.
appreciate you, baby.
Teamwork. Chelsea's like, you guys are all fired. Love you. I can read minds. Call me Raven. Wait, but she can see into the future. Okay, never mind. Now we can talk about this incident and Max's aggressive driving. Again, gotta respect the kid because sometimes you do have to be aggressive to be a 4-time champ. It is what it is. Now, your top 3 for the weekend, we had Oscar taking the win in Barcelona, followed by Lando and P2 making it a P1, P2 lockout for McLaren. Double podium, love that for them. And the most exciting part, Charles and P3. It's a win for me. A win's a win. I'm wearing my Charles shirt today in honor. A win's a win. I'm very happy about that with him.
I'm honestly so happy for Charles though, because I recently saw an interview where he said the car was slow, and actually seeing him like in the points and in the podium, I'm like, is the car actually that slow? Because like, man, you're putting it in the podium back to back in Monaco and Barcelona. So I'm just hoping that they make a little bit more improvements and maybe we'll see him in first place soon, because that would be nice.
Your fastest lap of the race went to none other than our winner, Oscar Piastri.
And then driver of the day went to Max Verstappen. Shocking.
I think that driver of the day closes like, I don't know if it's 5 or 10 laps before the end of the race. I think it's 5. So it closes before the end of the race, which means it closed before Max's incident with George. So in some ways, I guess I get it, but like,
Humbug.
It kind of felt like, even when you think about the race before the George incident, I still feel like Max's driver of the day was like a little bit of an odd choice.
Very.
I find how people vote
humbug.
for driver of the day really interesting, because some people vote based off of like who they think had the best race. Some people vote for just like who they like as a driver. I always find it really interesting to see like people's reasonings as to like why they voted for who they voted for.
No, I agree. And I'm going to be honest. I sometimes vote for Charles or Lewis because they're my favorite drivers. If no one else really impressed me that weekend. Now, in the case of this weekend, Nico did a hell of a job.
I voted for Nico. I was like,
he deserved it.
He deserved it.
I did too, Hannah. I was like, oh, yeah, no, I voted for Nico as well. You're not alone, Han.
I popped in a group chat. I was like, I voted for Nico.
And I stopped voting overall just because, like, to me, it just felt like a popularity contest where it's like who has the bigger like fandom and everything like that.
Yes.
But sometimes I'll vote and it's literally like comes down to like who started from like the back of the grid and made it up to like top 10, or like who really fought a really good fight or whatever the case may be. And again, if I'm really feeling it, I'll just vote for my favorite drivers. But like I don't know. It just felt really odd. I don't want to say it felt forced, but it just felt really odd that Max got it. Because it's just like, it's an honorable mention that Nico finished in 6th from where he started.
I feel like there were so many other people that had more impressive races. Like Nico, you could have put Isaac. Like there are so many other options.
Isaac,
I
the
feel
only like
you could have gone for.
Exactly.
Heck, you could have freaking gone for Fernando Alonso.
No, exactly.
Like, he is the hometown guy. How the heck did he not get driver of the day?
Like, Carlos Sainz at this point.
Literally.
Yeah,
like,
Carlos Sainz
how were
has
this
a grandstand?
How were the two Spaniards, like, not even in contention? Because I'm pretty sure during the race when at one point they popped up, like, the top 3, like, who was, like, kind of up for driver of the day, and it was like Oscar, Max, and Lando. And I'm like, okay, where are the Spaniards here? What?
No, for real.
I don't get it.
I was so happy when he got P5. Kind of spoiler there, because I know Mel said P6. Due to Max's penalty, it bumped Nico up a point, so then he went from P6 to P5. So Sauber deserved this, and so did Hulkenberg. No words. I think I've already said that enough this whole episode.
Again, Nico, Hulk podium in the future? I hope so. Now, another fun fact. I mean, again, it wouldn't be a PGP recap without like 1,000,001 fun facts. Fernando also keeps his streak alive by scoring points at the Spanish Grand Prix. Love that for him. But it's also our rookie. It's his first points of the season.
Thank God. He needed that, honestly. But I feel like, again, you've heard us talk about this person, I don't even know how many times throughout this episode, but we have Isaac Hadjar back in the points again, and I loved that. There were also points for Pierre, so I'm really wondering if the two of them watching the Paris Saint-Germain match together brought them good luck. I mean, PSG did beat Inter Milan, I think. I'm going to rephrase that.
A whopping 5-0.
Yeah, I mean, pop off PSG. So I really wonder if they just like need to do stuff together like before races, and like maybe they'll both win. I don't know. Maybe they're just gonna have to follow how PSG does. I don't know. I'd be intrigued to see.
I mean, they're both French. At least it won't be a battle of the baguettes this time. You know, they can get along a bit better. But all I gotta say is, Isaac, that's my Pookie rookie. If I remember correctly, he's actually like the final rookie that's been able to score points and perform, be able to like stay within the top 10 since the start of the season. And knock on wood, literally, I don't want to jinx that for him, because keep it up. Keep it up.
The way I screamed at him getting points again, this man is on fire. The level of consistency that we've seen from Isaac, just keeping it on the track, staying consistent in the points, being able to just be 100 every single race, every single practice, every session, every quali. I feel like we're just seeing the peak and the start of him, and I'm very excited to see what the next couple years hold for that man, because I've said this when it came to Oscar his first year. I will say it with Isaac. He is a World Driver Championship contender. Just give him a little while. But going back in regards to the PSG match together, did you see on VCarb's Instagram, they handed him a jersey? He was like, heck no. He tossed it in the bushes, and then they handed him a PSG one, and then he was like, this is my team. He was so happy.
As he should.
He like viscerally cringed when the Inter Milan jersey came out. It was perfect. Absolute perfection. I will say, I love that Isaac Hadjar has also made improvements on keeping his radio messages calmer and cleaner. If you watch his F2 years, you know exactly what I am talking about. His radio messages are iconic. I'm sure there is a compilation somewhere on YouTube, or someone might have built one on TikTok. I'm sure it exists somewhere on the internet. But did anybody else notice the way that the circuit was absolutely bumping the new Tate McRae song from the upcoming F1 movie? I mean, I heard it clear every single lyric on the broadcast. God damn, guys, that must have been loud. I will say, I loved that Oscar Piastri dedicated his race win to his sister Eddie, who was at the race. He wrote it on the champagne bottle. It just was so cute. I love when drivers do that. I think it's so sweet.
I just saw a tweet that said, oh, I lost it. Did I lose it? Hold on. Okay, it was a quote tweet where they're showing his sister and everything like that. And it's like, I love how every time we learn more about the Piastri siblings, Oscar's ranking on the coolest Piastri sibling just gets lower. And it's hilarious because she's very pretty too. She looks cool. They all look really nice. I mean, it's funny how they all look alike too, but like the differences and everything like that. But that tweet just killed me, and Amy brought that up, and I was just like, oh my God, I literally just saw that just now. Now, post-race, we actually had some drama going on. It's not telenovela worthy drama, but something to spice things up. Now, we mentioned the whole incident between Max and George, but Max had actually received 3 penalty points on his super license, I believe, but it's the 3 points that they receive out of the 12 that they do yearly, totaling up to 11. So he's now 1 point, a singular point, away from receiving a suspension.
I think that man's just ready for a vacation with his kids at this point.
I mean, you would think he would have taken one up before when the baby was born, but they're in, Miami?
Yeah. He probably didn't plan it. Now he's like, oh, I've got to make up for it. Some time off would be nice. Or maybe he's trying to plan it to where it happens right in June when they get that little bit of vacation, because a couple of the points roll off at the end of the June. So he's just got to get through Canada, and then I forget what the race is at the end of June, but he's got to get through those 2, and then he drops back down, I want to say, to like 8 points against his license. So he's probably like, oh, I could either do this now. We'll never know. Max is a Max. But due to Max receiving the 10-second penalty for the collision with George Russell, like Amy mentioned, it dropped him from 5th to 10th, which we did see a big shift as far as all the people in the grid, because they all got more points than they originally had planned. And then, did y'all see that Sauber got the fastest pit stop? Not sure if y'all look at the DHL pit stop standings, but it was pretty cool, especially in comparison to last year for them, where they just typically were not doing really good. But
Love
this
that
year,
for them.
they've been up there like really high, like all year.
I do always watch their pit stops when they come up on the F1 TV stream, but I don't always keep an eye on like who nabs the fastest overall for like each race. But I feel like other teams have had much longer pit stops than Stake. I feel like we haven't really seen like a last season Stake pit stop from Stake, which like I will friggin' take it. They definitely put in the work, and it's just really nice to see it like show.
It's finally come to fruition where they're finally on track to do decently good.
It's that Audi money coming in, you guys. And we love it for them. I'm not even mad.
No. That, and I know that last year they had a bunch of newbies starting with them. So I wonder if now that they've like finally had some time to train,
they got into the flow of it all.
Mm-hmm. And maybe the team wasn't teaming, so now they're like, oh, we have to be on the same page to work together. But who knows? And then a bit of an update on the Drivers' Championship, because I feel like everybody who is a McLaren fan watches this very closely. First is Oscar Piastri with 186 points, and then second is Lando Norris with 176 points. That means there is a 10-point difference with them. That is so close, and I feel like it's going to come down to Abu Dhabi at this point.
I will be very excited to watch if you ask me. I like when stuff gets close, like especially within like this, like 2 teammates. It's going to get very, very spicy, and we're not even halfway through the season.
Bring it on.
Chaos.
Now, well, we could dissect this race for ages, and trust us, we really kind of want to. We have to do a Hallmark of a PGP race recap, because honestly, y'all, is it really a PGP race recap without predictions? I decided, because it's been a little bit for me, that I would trade my pendulum in for one of my many tarot decks to see who's going to finish on the podium. Now, I'm not sure I'm going to continue to do this all of the time, but it was just kind of fun to try and change up my process a little bit and just see what my results were. So my predictions for the Canada podium are Oscar in P1, Isaac in P2. Now, if you heard random screaming on Friday, that was me when that result came through. I'm not even a little bit sorry, because if we get an Isaac Hadjar podium at all this season, I am going to lose my mind, as I think will all of the girls right alongside me, thank God. P3, we have Max Verstappen. And now, you know what, y'all? I will friggin' take this podium any day of the week. F1 gods, please, please, please make this happen for me. I'm going to manifest this so hard. I would absolutely die and go to heaven over this podium for any race, Canada or any other upcoming race.
I wouldn't be upset at an Isaac podium, to be honest. I'll be very happy. I'll be probably screaming with Amy. We'd be heard all around the world. Now, as for my predictions, pure vibes, because I wish I could, like our bestie, read tarot cards. But what is predictions if it's not vibes? Especially from me. So I'm going for a little bit of a wild card. I'm probably jinxing Ferrari. So I apologize in advance. I hope not. Knock on wood. Now, I'm going to say P1, Lewis. P2, Charles. Double podium. 1, 2. We need the redemption at this point. I need it. The Tifosi need it. Our drivers need it. And P3 to Oscar. Will it happen? Probably not, but a girl can dream for a Tifosi podium, so I'm going to stick to that.
For my predictions, honestly, I'm not sure. To be honest, I feel like every time I say predictions, like Mel said, I jinx it and it never happens, or it becomes the opposite grid. So I always wonder if I actually should do these. But P1 would be Lando, P2 Charles, and P3 to be either Isaac or Kimmy, because those two rookies have just been killing it this season, and I feel like Kimmy deserves that after this weekend and then in Imola, that the man just needs some luck. And I think at some point this season we should see a rookie on the podium. It's just destined at this point. So I would love if it happened at this next race. So please and thank you, the gods who ever listen.
And to close out the episode, we have I guess I'm going to call it a driver moment of the weekend. Work with me here, people. But we have to give it to Nico Hülkenberg, because we had Nico in the points. I'm going to repeat that one more time with some feeling. We had Hulk in a Sauber in the points, y'all. And that just needs some recognition. So that is our driver moment of the weekend.
And that's a wrap on the last race in Barcelona for the Spanish Grand Prix. This race gave us a bit of chaos, penalties, ruthless fighting, and sadness with the end to an historical track again. Don't forget to subscribe, leave us a review, and follow us on socials so you don't miss a thing. Next stop is Canada for us, but we're going to take a little bit of a break. I hope you're very excited as we are. Next week, we get to interview an exciting author. Her name is Bridget L. Rose. If you've read any of her books, they're absolutely amazing. If you haven't, please download it now. Thank you for tuning in and for joining us in the paddock. See you at the next race. Bye.
Bye.
Her books are on Kindle Unlimited. Read them now. Bye.